Come out to the shop today, and I'm going to try to show you a few of the things I've been working on, or the next couple things I'm going to work on. One is the flooring. I'm going to put the floor in, and also the hour shower that I've been trying to figure out how to put together. Got a lot of information from those videos that I showed you guys, the hour shower videos of how somebody else has built them and everything, and that works fine for what they're doing, but for the way I want to put it in, I got to invent a couple things, try to figure a few things out. And what I'm talking about there is, let me show you over here. Remember I showed you in a couple videos back, I don't remember when exactly, talked about the floor pan for the shower, okay, the shower pan. Let me sit you right there. Aim you down just a little. All right, this floor pan has a hole in it, obviously, for the drain right here. And it's, I think they call it a 4 1/4 inch hole. The actual hole is about 3 1/2 or 3 1/4, something like that. But it's got this lip. They measure from the outside edge, I think. So anyway, they got this hole here, and I bought a drain off of Amazon, and it's too small. Okay, it's about 2 3/4. I didn't look close enough at it. I thought I found it. I go, oh, that's exactly what I need. And the problem I have with this shower, I need a low profile drain outlet, okay, or a drain outlet. And the reason being, this thing sits right on the floor, and it's designed to sit right on the floor. And then they drill a hole in the floor, and the drain goes down into the floor below, the basement or whatever, or the subfloor, the crawl space, whatever it has. If it's a concrete slab floor, that drain would already be there, and you'd line it up, and okay. But it would drain from here, from the floor. It would be even with the floor, and it goes straight into whatever it's sitting on. And the drain is underneath this floor. Well, underneath this floor is outside, and I didn't want pipes outside. I didn't want to drill a hole in the floor, for one. For two, I didn't want to have the piping outside in case it gets cold. Why am I bent over like this? Let me pick you up, and we'll stand up like normal people. I didn't want the drain outside because of weather, cold. If it gets cold outside, the pipes outside would freeze real quick. If the pipes are inside, I can always heat the interior up and keep those pipes from freezing, maybe. How often that's going to happen, I don't know, but I just thought it'd be a good idea to keep the pipes indoors. All right, so what I did is, I got you in there, yeah, that's a good angle. I'll just bend over. All right, so what I did, I went and bought this low profile shower drain, okay? And I thought, man, that's perfect. Problem is, it's only, I think they call it 2 3/4 or 2 5/8, yeah, 2 3/4. The chrome piece here, the stainless piece here is 2 3/4, okay? And it's not really made for those 4-inch holes. The 4-inch holes, which here's one. It's much bigger, okay? So I don't know if you can see that, but anyway, this is too small for that hole in there. You need this flange right here to sit on top of the thing. This doesn't have a flange right here, okay? This is mainly for a smaller hole, and you bolt it up from underneath, and then this stainless steel, or the steel piece with the screw, you screw that down in there, and that's what holds it in. So this doesn't work. It's a $21 that I wasted on Amazon, and it's not worth even sending back. I might find a use for it someday somewhere else, I don't know. So I'll just throw it over in the junk pile, or the storage pile, and future projects pile. And so I went and got a regular drain at Home Depot. Well, here it is. It's glued up. Take the weight off of there. So I had it all glued, and it looks nice and solid. What I did is I've got the primer. Whenever you do PVC, PVC has kind of a high gloss, a sheen to it, a coating on the very top, and you need to put this on there to kind of burn that off, so that the plastic inside melds to the other plastics. If you don't use this, you don't get a very good bond with the glue, okay? So what I did is let me back up. Right here is the piece. Ignore this nipple and ignore this plate, okay? Here's the drain. It's an offset drain. As you look inside, see it's offset. It comes in and then offsets to the side and then down, okay? And it used to be that big, all right? I put it in the vise and took a saw, right here, took a fine-tooth saw, and I just cut that 1/2 inch, I cut that off, okay? That sits over there, and that just saves that extra little bit okay? Then I put this plastic, this PVC. Where did I get flat PVC from? Well, when I made this part, which I'll get to in a minute, when I made that part, there it is, I had to buy a piece of PVC pipe. One of the smallest PVC pipe that they have is a 2-foot piece. And I needed that much. I needed that much PVC pipe. So I had to buy 2 foot of it. So anyway, I bought that, cut it off, put it in there, glued it all together, okay? This is the heater, by the way. And I was left with 22.5 inches of PVC pipe. So I got to thinking, why don't I cut off just that much more, okay? All it is PVC pipe rolled flat. How do you do that? Well, you take whatever piece of PVC pipe, you cut it off however deep you want it, however, you know, this much or whatever, and then you put it in a vise where to hold it still, and you cut it long ways, put a slit in the side. Then you put it in the oven, and I put it on about 200 degrees and let it sit in the oven on a cookie sheet. Well, you don't put it on Mama's cookie sheet because it'll melt and make a mess and she'll be upset with you. So you take a cookie sheet and put some aluminum foil or some wax paper or any kind of baking paper, whatever, something to keep the metal from the plastic apart, okay? So I used aluminum foil, worked great, and put it in there, heated it up, and kept an eye on it, because I don't know if 200 is exact, you know, the exact temperature to use. I put it on 200 and just kept a real close eye on it. Every couple minutes I go over and check it. And I'd open up and I'd squeeze it, and when it gets soft, as soon as it gets soft, you take your oven mitts and you pull it open. You pry it open, you know, here's a slit, and you pry that open. Well, it wants to spring right back. So you pry it open, you turn it upside down, and then you put something on top of it. Well, what can you put that's heavy that you can put on in an oven with the heat and everything? I got a Pyrex casserole dish, and I stuck that on top and just let it sit, and it pushed it down. You know, it's like this. I cut it open, I turn it upside down, put it in here, flip it open like that, and I put a Pyrex dish right on top of that. And it came out perfectly flat, really, really well. Keep a very close eye on this stuff though, because if it melts, then it turns into a gooey mess and it's a problem. So you want to just get it just soft enough to be malleable. Is that the right word, malleable? Anyway, now I've got this huge plate on here. I got to trim this all down and make it nice and pretty. But I glued this on, okay, and you use the primer on the PVC here and on the PVC here. As you can see, I've smeared it down in there. Put it on both pieces and then glued it together, okay? Then I drilled a hole, took a Forstner bit, put this piece in the vise, and I drilled a Forstner bit down through here, and then I put this fitting in here, and the two Forstner bits that I had in this set, the smaller one, you couldn't get the fitting in, and the bigger one, it was loose, okay? What I did is I went ahead and used the bigger one, and then I just filled the gaps with that glue, with Gorilla Glue, Gorilla 2-part epoxy, and filled that up, screwed that in there, and it worked fine. So I glued all this stuff up and set it here for a day, well, overnight. Come back out, and it's all glued up nice and hard. If I had this piece to do over again, I would have used the smaller Forstner bit, put it in there, and then this wouldn't quite fit. Then I'd take the threads, there's threads on this, I'd take the threads and file them down until they got small enough where I could get it in there with a nice tight fit, because it was just a little bit loose. But it worked good. I mean, it's nice and solid, so it works either way, I guess. So there's the lower profile, big brother version of this one, okay? Small one, big one I made, okay? This was $21. This was $9. The PVC, which I had to buy anyway, okay, for this part here, was basically left over free. And the fitting here was about $2. So I got about 12 bucks in this versus 21 in this. This works, this won't. So, all right, on to, what are we gonna talk about yet next? Okay, on to the heater. What we got here is a, what do they call it? A cartridge heater rod, okay? This cartridge heater rod, as you can see, is a metal rod. It's roughly 6 inches, I'd guess, maybe. Yeah, 5.5 inches long, okay? 5.5 inch rod. It's about a 1/2 inch diameter. These are 1/2 inch threads. The rod itself is, yep, 1/2 inch. All right, so this will go into a fitting like one of these fittings. Okay, now this is a thread, this is a 3/4 and 1.5. Thread and thread, okay? what you need is a 1/2 inch thread and a 1.5 inch smooth, okay? That 1.5 inch, here's the 1/2 inch thread, here's the 1.5 inch smooth going into an 1.5 inch fitting into a T-junction, okay? This is like a drain is what this is, actually drain from one sink to another or whatever. This is what going in the drain, okay. Anyway, it's a T-junction. Then, if I put a 1/2 inch down here, I got a 1.5 inch, 1.5 inch, and 2 inch. The reason I went with 2 inch here is because I needed to put a piece in here to make this a little longer. Otherwise, it'd butt in, okay? It'd be too long. You see what I'm saying? So what I needed to do is extend this a little bit longer. So I got an adapter, a 1.5 to 2 inch adapter, and a 2 inch fitting here, and then a 2 inch pipe. Cut that 1.5 inch of it off, stuck it in here, put these two together, okay? We made the chamber longer, and then I put the same exact fitting here, 1.5 inch fitting with a 1/2 inch thread, 1.5 inch fitting with a 1/2 inch thread, put a nipple here, put a nipple here. All right, this rod will go inside here, okay? That's electric 110 heat, okay? Water will come in here, fill this bowl, and the heater rod will heat the water as it flows across it. All right, it'll flow out, and this will go from here, will go up to the shower head, okay? This will be inside that hide wall over there, along with the pump and along with the filter, okay? So that is the basics of this hour shower. Now, I'm gonna try it one way. If it works, fine. If it doesn't, I've got another part that I can put on here as a timer, a heating timer. But I think what I'm gonna do is get this all hooked up. I can actually explain this better once it's all done, I think, and I've experimented with it. But I think what I'm gonna do, you've got the shower basin, and water will go down through this drain, go out that nipple, through 1/2 inch hose. This 1/2 inch hose will take it over to the pump. The pump will pressurize it, push on it, and then have a filter. And I know I should probably put the filter before the pump. The problem with that is the way it's mounted in there. I think it'd be easier. Well, let's call this the pump. This isn't, but let's say this is the pump. And if I have the heater coming in, I can't get to the rod. I don't know. I have to double check on that. I'd like to put this first, and then the pump, then the heater. Okay. I think I'm going to have to put the pump, then the filter, then the heater. Okay. Anyway, it'll come out of the drain, down the drain, into this hose, over to this filter, from the filter into the pump. From the pump, it'll come up over into this, it'll flow down across here. Once the water gets to flowing good, and this chamber is full of water, okay, this water will come back up to the shower head, and it'll shoot out into the shower pan, and the cycle has continued. Okay, now once the water is flowing, you go over and you flip the switch and turn the heater on. When the heater turns on, every time that water passes by here, it gets a little warmer, a little bit warmer, a little bit warmer, until it gets up to temperature. That's when you step into your shower, take your shower, and you get done, you turn this switch back off, okay? Because the thing I'm getting at is you don't want this heating and burning and getting hot without water flowing over it. It'll melt your plastic, okay? I don't know if they make any of this stuff in steel. So maybe they do. Maybe I'll have to look into that. But I think what that other guy was doing with his, he's doing it with his, and it seemed to work. So anyway, with that, that's the plan on the shower. All right, now one more thing, the filter. One more thing. Here's the filter. If you don't pre-filter this thing will fill up pretty quick with things like body hair, you know, just big junk, okay? So what I'm gonna do is, in this drain right here, I'm gonna cut out a filter medium of some type, a pre-filter, to filter the big junk, like I said, like body hair, that kind of thing, okay? So I don't want body hair going down through this filter and then into the pump and all that kind of stuff. I want to stop it here at this drain. And I got to thinking the other day, what can I use as a filter? Well, you can use like foam, like in a, what do you call it, in a, like a fish tank, or aquarium. You can use something like that. I got to thinking, just those green scratch pads, those, you know, scratchy green pads, are 8 inches by 4 inches or whatever. Get one of them and cut them out, cut it out to the right size, and just stick it in there, and that will stop everything. And when you see it getting dirty, just pull it out, wash it out, stick it back in there. And when it ever kind of wears out and won't hold its shape anymore, cut a new one. They're cheap. So pre-filter, secondary, good filter, and all the different components. Now that's the shower part of this thing. What I'm going to do now is talk to you about flooring. All right. I went down to the store the other day and got flooring for the RV, and I was looking at different styles and different kinds and stuff. Here's a pure vinyl, solid vinyl. This is a particle board kind of thing. Here's lots of plasticky looking stuff. Here's one that actually has wood on the back. I think it's real bamboo wood on the front. It's a bamboo shape. I don't like the bamboo so much. It's neat, but so anyway, I'm looking at them, and I wanted, not so much you can get them in different prints. I wanted to see the quality of these, how they hold up to water. So what I did is I put these in a bowl of water and let them sit for a few hours, thinking they'd just fall apart. Now this one won't, because it's a solid vinyl. All 3 layers are solid vinyl. They can't go bad. It can melt, but it can't be damaged by water. And these others are more of like a particle board, and then there's like a veneer on the front, like a laminate on the front, and it's like pressed MDF, medium density fiber. This is like a high density fiber board, but it looks like wood, but I don't know. Anyway, I figured this one would fall apart. I figured this one would fall apart, and I damn near knew this one was going to fall apart, because you actually see wood on the back of this one. All right, so I stuck them in there for a few hours, came back, and they look pretty good. They're still nice and solid, you know. Okay, so I left them in there overnight. Come back the next morning, man, they're still in good shape. I really figured these corners and stuff would really rip out and get bad and everything and just fall apart. It didn't happen. Okay, well, so then I left them for 3 days. 3 days in water, soaking in water. Now, of course, this one won't go bad because it's solid vinyl. But these others I figured would fall apart. Well, this one here, I can just barely see around the edge. There's a little bit of warping where water is soaked in, but it didn't delaminate. It just kind of, you can see it if the light's at just the right angle. This one, perfect. This one, still perfect. I mean, you can't tell this from a brand spanking new one that I pick off the shelf. I mean, they really held together well. I was really surprised. So then I decided, well, let's go pick one as far as the looks and everything. So I went down there, and I kind of like that one. Wouldn't you know? This PVC one is $2.80 a foot or something like almost $3 a foot, square foot. This one here was like $2.30 or something like that. The bamboo I think was somewhere around $2.40, something like that. This one I really like. It has a kind of a darker oak look, you know. For 47 cents. 47 cents a foot. And it's the one, perfect. I mean, you cannot tell anything's wrong with it. So anyway, that's the one I went with, the cheapy one, you know. The one I liked happened to be the cheapy one. So I'm gonna go leave here. I'm gonna go over and go to working on the van, or the trailer. I keep saying the van. I'm gonna go work on the trailer, and I think I'm gonna install flooring today. I'm gonna wait on parts, the water pump and things like that. Still haven't come in from Amazon. So anyway, gives you an idea of my reasoning, my thought process on some of this stuff. You know, when I see somebody else doing something, I'm like, oh, I really like the way this is that he did, but I didn't like the way this was, because I needed this low profile thing, which he didn't apparently, and I needed this, so I invented this, and you get the idea. So I sit there and think about stuff. I don't rush in to build it today. I think about it for a little while and eventually come up with a better solution, because I slowed down and thought about it. So with that, I guess I better get to work. So y'all, ciao, bye. I'm just kidding. I'm going to get to work. Bye.